Bare Knuckle Boys, everyone. We're here with Chris Big Boy Jensen. He's got a little bit of a bare knuckle career that he's going to tell us about, and he'll also talk about how scoring works in both boxing and bare knuckle, and maybe help us understand some of the more controversial rulings and maybe some of the thought process between them. Because, as an outsider and even as an avid watcher of combat sports, I don't always understand how the scoring works. So it'd be good to talk to a professional about this. So that's why we got you on.
Yeah, all right. It's a pleasure, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm considered an older fighter in this sport. I'm 40 years old. I've been doing it since professionally. I've been pro since 2008, but I've been fighting since 2005.
Mm-hmm.
And I came up here in Florida in a time where it was a lot of old school fighters, a lot of old school guys like Tommy Trauma Sauer, and just some killers, TJ Cook, guys that kind of pioneered the way for mixed martial arts here. And a lot of those guys that ended up joining the boxing commission here in Florida and working for them.
Mm-hmm.
I have done a few different sports. I've done MMA, I've done boxing, I've done bare knuckle. I fought for Valor with Ken Shamrock and them out there in North Dakota. Then I came out, fought for bare knuckle, and I've kind of stuck with it. And now I'm getting to the point to where I'm old and I don't want to really train as hard anymore. I do, but I don't have the drive. And I'm getting into broadcasting and the podcasting stuff. And with the knowledge that I have, my family and my friends are all telling me that this is probably what I should be doing. Yeah. So having all this experience, when it comes to the boxing commission, especially here in Florida, here's what we got to understand about bare knuckle. It's relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a sport that they haven't been sanctioning for 100 years like boxing, or 30 years like mixed martial arts, where they've learned. One of the things that I like to say about mixed martial arts is, even Dana said it, and he said that UFC's never had a serious injury. They've never had a death. They never have. And there's a reason. I've worked alongside with boxing commissions before, and they learn from their mistakes. We always learn, even the promoters, the fighters. I myself always have a voice with the boxing commission.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago here in Florida, I was removed from a boxing commission meeting over kids. So they wanted to make kids MMA legal, and I'm not a fan of that. I got CTE. I mean, I know I got issues. If you watch some of my interviews, every now and then you'll hear me slur a word, or I'll say something weird, and I didn't do that 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not really for kids MMA. I'm for kids competing and stuff like that, but I'm not really up to that striking in the head thing. So I had a voice in that, and I had my voice heard in the Florida Athletic Commission because they know me, and they've been working with me for years as a promoter. And I said what I had to say, and one guy didn't like it. I'm not going to say his name, and they had to have me removed because I'm a fighter.
Yeah,
I fight for what I believe in. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and punch a keyboard and tell somebody I'm going to whoop them. I'm just going to be like, all right. When I see you, we're going to find out. And that's kind of how I acted. I shouldn't have been the professional way, but I didn't. But so about the scoring in the boxing commission here in Florida, we have some of the best judges, chief inspectors in the business. I know them personally. Andy Glenn, Mr. Knuckle Up himself, is at every event. Not only does Andy Glenn referee bare knuckle, but he referees all the amateur events here in the state of Florida. I mean, when he was in Montana, on Friday night, Saturday, he was in Crystal River with me doing a show with me. Yeah. So Andy is so knowledgeable in this, and those judges are too. I know there's controversy sometimes about decisions,
mm-hmm.
and we hear that a lot. And it's not nothing new. It's not something.
It's been around forever since the birth of combat sports. Really, it's you can go back and read stories about judges misjudging things like hundreds of years ago. But I'm just wondering, maybe what makes a good judge, and how is the scoring done precisely, and how do they keep them in check? Like, what is there to keep them in check other than the voices of the people raging at them afterwards?
Well, that's really one of the hardest things to deal with. There's not really a way to keep them in check because there's always room for human error. So the way they normally score a bout, and this is, I'm gonna keep it very simple. Very simple. 9 times out of 10, it's a 10-9 scoring system.
Yeah.
Basically, what happens is, and you can get a judge, you can train a judge in a couple days, you know, to know what cage control is, to know domination, to know what you know, the best judges are normally ex-fighters. They really are.
Yeah.
The best judges I've ever had working for me are ex-fighters. Hopefully they're not biased towards the other fighter, but there's sometimes that could be a chance. I've done events before, and I'll say this story. I did an event in Newport Richey. It was called AFC, and it was Devin Lee Brown versus Sean Washington. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. It's on Fightrepreneur on YouTube. And Devin Lee Brown took Sean down and laid on top of him the entire fight, 3 rounds. And I mean, Devin was a wrestler and Sean was a striker. And Sean got up a few times, but Devin just kind of laid on top of him. But I knew Devin had won the fight. But all those judges around that ring were my judges that I paid. And Sean was my fighter. So when they announced the winner of that fight, you look on that video and you look at my face.
Yeah.
I'm the promoter standing in the ring. When they announced the winner of that fight, my guy, Sean Washington, I literally dropped my head and just shook it and looked at Devin Lee Brown and them and went, there's nothing I can do. So it does happen. And there's a saying, no judges needed. Don't let it go to the judges. And that's kind of where it goes. I know there was some talk. Chachi had told me that you guys had some questions about the Dat Gwynn and Luis Palomino fight.
Yeah,
I was there.
There was one judge specifically that I'm confused more about than any of the others, because this guy ruled all in favor of Luis Palomino, and I don't see how anyone could have.
Where's that paper at? So listen to this. It's funny you say that. In Miami, when I was walking out of the event, I found the judge's scorecard in the parking lot.
Oh, you did? Really?
Where's it at? I think it's over here in this box. Can you get it for me?
You just drop it or something?
So I don't know. I'll probably get in Schitt's Creek for this, but I seen the judge's scorecard. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that I disagree with anybody's decision, because at that level of competition, Dad did hold his own, man. I mean, I got to be honest. The dude held his own. I mean, he was moving. Yeah. I was watching it ringside. But, and I'd like to say, and I said this is before I even knew you guys, I was going to talk to you. This is the night of the event. I said to my friend, it reminded me of the Frankie Edgar BJ Penn fight. And he didn't beat BJ. You got to beat the champ. You can't take the champ to a decision. You got to beat him. You got to unanimously beat the champ. That's the only thing I could give to that fight and that outcome. Obviously, there's some things on that card. You find it? Is that it? I'll find it. If I find it, I'll send it to y'all.
We'd love to see
but
it.
I have it. And you can see what they said. It's that 4-piece paper. Look in that drawer over there.
When you say you found the judge scorecard, there's 3 judges. So did you find one of?
So I found one of them's score sheet.
It wasn't the most controversial one on there, was it?
Is a Spanish name. It was like
favor of Palomino.
Let me, man, I wish I would have remembered this, because I kept it just because of this. It was one of the Spanish judges, like Ortega or something. I don't know if there was, I got to look at it.
Yeah.
It might even been the chief inspector's card. So I don't know. I'm probably going to get so much shit for this.
Why was that even in the parking lot in the first place?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I said when I found it. That's what I said to my wife when I found it. I'm like, why is this even in the parking lot? Because it was in the first parking lot when you come out of the Jason Knight Center.
I'd imagine they have
but
a folder or something for that.
The thing with these judges is, you know, they take everything into consideration. They have a briefing before the fight with no one else. We're not even allowed in there. So who knows what they're saying in there. But they have a set idea, those judges, of what these fighters are capable of doing. And they know when a fighter, you know, they do pay attention. And especially in Florida, they really do take into consideration. I don't know how they came up with that exact ruling on that fight, but I saw a couple close calls that night.
Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts on the Pro Gonzalez fight?
That's another one. It was so close. And I think
the thing I hated the most about that night was these 2 decisions were back to back. It'd be one thing if they were like separated by a few fights, but it just seems extra suspicious when they're back to back like that.
Yeah.
So sitting cage side watching the Pro Gonzalez and Britain fight, what I saw was I did see more damage in Pearl's avenue as a fighter.
Like in
But what I
favor of
saw
her, you
on-
mean because there was more blood on Britain's face, if that's what you're saying. Which
Yeah, like the damage. We go for damage, but I really think Britain set the pace of the fight. I really think she was the aggressor. And it would have been hard to me to give it as a judge. It would have been hard for me to give it to Pearl.
okay.
You know, I think Pearl could have stayed outside a little more and could have moved off of the jab a little more, but
She was doing great on that. I would say, and I said this earlier, and I'll say it again, that she outboxed her the whole time. The only place where Britain excelled was in the clinch.
in the clinch. And and we've been seeing a lot of that clinch lately. Like they're tying up big time over here now. They're figuring it out.
Yeah.
We saw Wilcott Cisse do that night. He's tying them up. So that dirty boxing's coming into play.
Sure.
So
is,
it's
yeah.
changing the game. And that's what I'm saying about bare knuckle is it's still evolving, you know?
Yeah. Totally. You haven't found that sheet, have you?
Oh, let me look. Just give me a second here. I can unplug my phone. I'll take it.
Sure, we got it. We got time.
Yeah. So
We're here
I
all-
came out of this damn place and I looked down on the ground and I was like, what do I find but a scorecard? And only people that would know what a scorecard is somebody that's either worked for the commission or had a promotion like myself. So I snagged it up.
Are fighters themselves allowed to view the scorecards?
Not in the state of Florida.
Okay.
In the state of Florida, no, but in other states like Kansas, they are starting to do the open scoring, and they did it with bare knuckle.
I loved that. Yeah, that was one of my
Loved it
favorite
too.
things. I was hoping that the entire organization would do that, but as I understand now, not every state is united on how to do these different things. So,
Yeah, no, I agree with that because, and also you notice that we had one of the best fight cards ever in Wichita.
yeah,
It was good,
Kansas,
man.
yeah.
So if you see my after interview with Dave Rickles, I asked him, I said, hey, did that open scoring shit help you? And he was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where the hell this thing. I saw it. I swear to God, I saw it just recently, and I thought to myself, I need that.
Did we ever talk about the suspension of all fighters?
It's crazy. I'm gonna have her look for it because I don't.
So
The thing with
go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, all right. Did you hear about the suspension of all the fighters at the BKFC Montana event?
I think it was.
So I actually broke that story. To be
Oh
honest,
yeah, you're
with
the
you.
guy that broke it. Okay.
I'm the one who
All right.
broke that story.
Well, a few weeks.
And so the situation with that was, and I have so many friends in so many places that I get a phone call from someone and they're like, hey, you need to go check your Montana stats. And I'm like, all right. So I go check my Montana stats and they say, have you seen anything different? And I'm like, no. And I noticed everyone was under suspension. This was like a week after it happened, 2 weeks after it happened. So I looked up ISKA and I got a buddy that works for ISKA and I called him and he kind of told me the situation. But what I think happened there was, and I'm saying I think so that no one says I'm lying, is that the ISKA applied for their sanctioning body license in the state of Montana on due process. So you have to do 2 months before when you come to Montana, you have to apply for that. It's just a business license. You can get one.
Yeah.
And so ISKA was supposed to apply for that license so that they can sanction that event because Montana doesn't really have a boxing sanction. They just kind of have sanctioned bodies.
Okay.
And so I don't think the license came through in time and they had already flown everybody in there and everyone was there. And they pretty much told the guy who was in charge of the boxing commission or the Montana Business Commission to fuck off. And they went ahead with their show.
Jeez.
That's a little.
That's what I heard.
The stats and all that stuff's going to count though, right?
What's that?
The stats and everything are still going to go through and count.
Oh yeah. They'll go through. Those fighters will just have suspensions and it'll say unsanctioned. And the only people that'll use those stats are the promotions that they fought for. You know what I mean? So it's not like a big deal. Now, where the backlash could be is that there probably won't be no more bare knuckle in Montana.
Really, that's unfortunate because I enjoyed seeing a smaller five by state get some attention like that. You know.
Yeah, now I know they're doing MMA because Fusion's got a card coming up.
Well, that's
And I
bullshit. They
think-
can do MMA, but they can't do bare knuckle.
Well, the guy that runs Fusion is one of the committee members of that business. He was actually, if you watch the Montana show, he was standing right on the ring during the fights on all black, and he was just like this. And he's got a beard and glasses, and he's like, his name, I want to say his name is Ryan Hall, like this UFC fighter, but I can't remember.
So do you
And
know
he
if
was
this had
there, and I
anything to
seen
do
him.
with the Arizona closing too.
Could be. It could. You're right. It could be. You know what? It could be. You know what? No, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because
They're
there was supposed to
fighting
be a
for
fight in
Arizona.
Arizona, maybe last month, but they
Yeah.
canceled it like 3 months ahead of time.
Yeah, they were trying to get me to fight. As soon as my last July fight, they had me trying to match me for Arizona or something like that. And I think they were trying to rematch me with McNugget. And I was like, I'm not fighting that guy again, you know? But Nate told me straight up, just tell me when you're ready. I honestly am having a good time doing this shit, editing, learning. You know, I bought me a new Air Mac, bought me an iPhone. I'm starting to get into, I want to edit my own shit because I'm sick of waiting for my footage.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just kind of getting into it. And I think I have a better voice than a lot of these numbskulls that are talking, and I have more knowledge. And I've put the time in, you know, I love fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, it's always
I know what
fun to
it's
hear
like.
from someone who knows what they're talking about.
Right. And I'm cool as shit.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this, if I find those papers, I will screenshot them and I will send them to y'all.
Sure.
I have no idea. I literally live in a house that's like, I have bow and arrows,
Yeah.
tree stands, studios over here, and half my studio's taken down because I'm moving it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I got so much shit.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Fishing poles.
Yeah, well, we've got some black powder stuff up here.
Oh, I love it. Now, where are you guys?
We're in Tennessee.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, little city called Chattanooga.
Oh, I know. That's my brother was stationed Fort Campbell.
Oh, really?
And he just sold his house in Fort Campbell. Now he moved to Fort Bragg, and as soon as he's done with his Bragg, he's going right back.
Yeah.
So he loves that part of Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a
And
great
my
place
daughter
to
lives.
live. It's not
So
too
was that-
cold, not too hot.
Was it Clarksville? Clarksville's where he
Yeah, I know
lives.
where Clarksville is. There's I think there's a fighter from BKFC out of there, or Clarksville. Yeah, isn't Jenny Savage from Clarksville? I think.
I think she is. That's I don't.
Yeah, I think so.
Here's the hard thing about the Tampa card. So I'm working with Bare Knuckle News now, and I have to do the backstage interviews for the at pros fights.
Yeah.
And all these Tampa fighters are all either once my friend, once trained with me, once or fought for me. So I'm so connected to all these fighters that hopefully they all win because my interviews are going to have emotions in them. But if the other people win, like Jenny, if Jenny beats Delaney, I'm going to be shit out of luck because I'm not going to have much to say.
Yeah.
So it's fun, man.
That fight could go either way, but do you know if it's going to be the same judges that were at the Miami event?
No, it won't be. It will not be because they're in regions. So the way the boxing commission disperses out their judges is they judge them in regions.
Okay.
If they double book, sometimes the boxing commission will double book. I don't think they'll triple book, but they'll do 2 shows in one night, and they'll have regions where there's a couple of my friends that work for them, and they'll go to the shows here at the Hard Rock, or if they have to, they'll drive to Fort Lauderdale. But the chances are that they won't have the same judges in Tampa as they did in Miami. They will have the same commissioner, possibly the same chief inspector, but they won't have the same judges.
Yeah, and are they going to have Andrew Young and Dan
Chris-
Mariano as the refs like normal?
And Andy Glenn, Chris Young, and Dan Mergliotta. I imagine it'll be Andy Glenn and Dan. Chris Young probably will be there. But yeah, I know them too. Chris is the.
Chris Young makes, in our opinion, some pretty bad calls.
You know, Chris has had a lot of controversial calls. I've had a couple in MMA with him as well. They call him a lazy referee. And at the end of the day, it is something that plays in the fight. All right. So like when I'm training a fighter and we get to the event, I ask the event, who's my fighter's referee? So normally at weigh-ins, I'm asking the commissioner, do you know who's going to ref my fight? Who's going to ref my tournament? When I found out Mergliotta was going to be reffing my fight against McElroy, I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Mergliotta's going to let me kill this dude. And he didn't. He didn't, though. He saw those cuts on it, and I asked him after the fight, I said, dude, why'd you stop it? He's like, bro, if you've seen that on his face, it looked like he just went through a windshield. I was like, dude, you should have let me hit him again.
Yeah. You mean with your fight with Kyle McElroy?
McNugget, yeah.
McNugget.
Yeah, I don't like saying his name. I seen Calamus. So I was in Miami and I seen Zach Calamus. We hung out. We're in the back, burning one, chilling. And I said to Zach, I said, you know, you really should fight Kyle. It's a good fight for you. And I said, you know, you'll win.
Yeah.
And do you know that Zach Calamus said, I wouldn't give that dude the time of day.
Zach,
I said, dude,
like the
that's
next
an easy
guy.
win, Zach. He won't do it.
Wow.
He's too proud, and he just dislikes Kyle that much
Well,
that he would never.
going from Bobo O'Bannon to Kyle is a big step down.
Yeah, but also having Nolan Smith not show up is pretty fucking hurt. That hurt Zach. You know what I mean?
I don't even know the details of why that happened. I actually didn't get to find out why. Do you know? Did he just not make weight?
So I have a theory.
Give it to us.
The theory is that dude did that twice this year. Nolan Smith did that in another fight too. Me and Chachi were talking about it tonight, but he had backed out. Here's what happens, man. You can talk all the shit you want about wanting to be a fighter, saying you can go get in that cage and do it. You can train in the gym and go spar with your buddies, and you can punch each other in the face all you want. But when you get closer to the night of that fight and the stress and the pressure starts getting to you, and you have a choice that you can back out. Weak-minded people will back out like that. This dude, Brian Cromer, is about to fight Josh Sanchez on December 9th here in Tampa. Go look at Cromer's record. He has 7 canceled fights. Now he's fighting at heavyweight, and he was a 185er. I hope my dog Josh Sanchez dusts his ass because I hate the people that don't show up. It hurts so bad to train for a fight and to go. I had it happen to me. It happened to me. This dude stood me up, and the next time we did finally fight, I knocked him out in 16 seconds.
Oh.
It hurt. I had fans, I had family, I had people traveled to get there. He backed out the day of the event. It tore my heart out of my soul.
Yeah.
I didn't come off of it for 3 months.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. What was the one? It wasn't the last one. It was maybe the fight before last.
Craig Morgan, Ziggy Johnson.
Crystal Pittman. Wait, what are you talking about? Crystal Pittman, Audra Cummings?
Was it that one? It was.
That one happened because of a COVID-related thing.
No. The one that was weight. There's a lot of
this
these.
was
Ziggy Johnson versus Craig Morgan.
Yeah, that happened. Those were the 2 debutees, right?
Yeah, and the guy went to an eating contest or something, and the boxing commission wouldn't let him fight the next day or some shit they said.
About that. But no, we're talking about the females. There were some
I don't
fights
know.
that got canceled because of a big female fighter had her fight canceled because of
this
it.
one right here, Taylor Starling versus Randine.
That's the one. Yeah, Randine Elcombe.
Yeah, when she bailed out, and then because they were trying.
And then she got fatter.
They were trying to do a pay cut for her, to still fight, because Taylor Starling was fine with that, but she didn't take it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of that lately, and most of these fights, a lot of people just not showing up. It seems to be a big problem in these sports.
We call it the itis.
Yeah.
Bitchitis.
Bitchitis, yeah.
Or we call it vacation. They got pussified, and it happens. I've been matchmaking fights for over a decade, and you don't know how many times I've had guys just not pull out. Fucking little dickhead David Miles did it. I had a fight a couple months ago in Crystal River. I had Taylor Halstead versus David Miles. It was like the 2 local towns that are next to each other fighting, and the kid David Miles talked all this trash all the way up to fight day or to weigh-in day. Weigh-in day, no one could get a hold of him. He went ghost. What does that do for Taylor? What?
Do you think he just lost his nerves?
Or he was high on something? One of the two. I can't tell you. Yeah,
needs to be talked about too. So, why is the drug testing in this not very strict?
So it's because here's the way it works. Drug testing for an athletic here in the United States is very, very touchy because of HIPAA laws, because of people's rights. There are laws that make it hard. So the only way you're going to get piss tested drug tested here in Florida, and it's only going to be a urine test, is if you win a championship. If you win a title here in Florida, they test you after the fight.
Okay.
After they urine test you. That's it. They don't blood test you. They don't do anything. So now if you have somebody like UFC comes to Florida, they get the same rules. But what happens is when the UFC has an insurance, their insurance is so high. So they sign up with a company like USADA. And USADA comes in and runs their testing for them, makes their insurance premiums go down, and checks everybody for performance enhancing drugs. If you hit an inhaler, a fucking asthma inhaler, and it comes up in your blood. You can't fight.
Huh.
But only USADA does that. And these companies here in Florida, they're not going to hire USADA. David Feldman's not going to hire USADA to come in and help his fight, even though he just had a guy die on the mat. He's not going to do that. Why would he? You know, like, for instance, when I fought Kleckler, here I am, 40 years old, 260 pounds, 2 inches taller, and this dude weighs 240 with an 8-pack standing next to me. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, I'm a stud. Like, I'm a big motherfucker. And I'm standing next to this dude Kleckler, and he's like, I can smell the shit on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dude. But I think they should be fair, and they should have a super heavyweight and a heavyweight. And super heavyweight isn't the guys over 265. It's the bitches on that super juice.
Yeah.
So what
So-
what happens if after that championship or they win a title or something, and then they come to find out they are on something? Is there, like, I guess, fines, and what happens
Yep.
to the loser and everything?
So if, say, for instance, the fighter wins the championship, he goes back, takes a piss test, and he pops for whatever the Florida Boxing Commission has on their list of banned substances.
Right.
So say he pops for marijuana and he doesn't have a marijuana card. He's stripped of the win. It's now either a no contest or it gets turned over. It's depending on the commissioner and the type of violation he has, and he loses the belt. Fines normally, yes. Here in Florida, they're not too bad. They don't really fine you too much in Florida, but they will suspend the shit out of you. They will suspend you for
What about the
months.
fee as well? Is that?
Well, what are you gonna do? Take their money back? Sue them?
I guess. Yeah.
Well,
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. What?
no, that's normally through the promotion.
Okay.
Now, I imagine when you sign up with USADA, like UFC is, yes, I'm sure there is a stipulation that states that if you fail, there's a first time warning, second time fine. You know, I'm sure they do have it like that. But here in Florida, no, they don't have no shit like that.
It seems like weed is the biggest drug in bare knuckle, but I guess have we seen any other kind of drugs or
Yes.
performance enhancing?
The performance enhancing ones
Yeah.
are the ones that you really got to watch out
Yeah.
for. The steroids.
And I'm talking steroids mainly, not necessarily like caffeine kind of things, because I know that's in some sports is regulated.
That's a good question, actually. That's a great question that you asked, because when you go into a fighter meeting with the boxing commission here, they tell you straight up, if we find anything in your bags out there, performance enhancing drinks, you're definitely not allowed to have caffeine drinks or any kind of stimulant drinks in your locker room.
They
You
can't
will
even
be
Tiger Life, their own sponsors.
Oh,
No, that's even
absolutely not. Absolutely not is that allowed in the locker room. And if they see you with that in the locker room, you will be taken out, or they will take it.
That's hilarious.
Here's a cool
I'll get afterwards too. So,
Here's a cool story. So we know felony Charles Bennett, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm fighting in the AOF. It's like 2012, something like that. And the boxing commissioner is doing his little speech. It's Tom Malloy and Chief Lopez or whatever's up there, and he screams at everybody, "You listen to me right now." And Charles Bennett comes in and says to the boxing commissioner, says, "You guys got any questions?" And Charles goes, "Yeah. I want to know, if you go in my bag and take my bag of weed and my weed pipe, am I going to get the motherfucker back after the fight?" And we all are like, and the inspector looks at Bennett and goes, I should have gave it back to you last time if you were going to run your mouth. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he didn't even care. Like, Bennett didn't even care. He's just like, I just want to make sure I can get my weed back, damn it. But
got priorities.
you know, as far as the drugs go in bare knuckle, here's the way it works in bare knuckle. If you're on dope or drugs, it's because you don't got the balls to get in there, and they don't care. MMA is a different story. If you're on drugs, then you're going against a guy who's on steroids and he keeps trying to take you down. You can tell the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can tell when a dude's doing jiu-jitsu and he's on steroids. When you're standing toe-to-toe with a dude banging it out, it don't freaking matter. And I'm going to bring up this fight. You guys are going to watch this Thursday night with Josh Sanchez and Brian Cromer. Brian Cromer is this ripped, muscly dude, big muscle dude. Josh Sanchez is this little pudgy dude. As a matter of fact, when I fought Kyle McElroy, right before they announced me as the winner, I slapped a security guard on the back. That was Josh Sanchez. And I was telling him, it's your turn next, dog. This kid was 350 pounds at one time.
Wow.
Now he's a little pudgy dude. He's going to beat the shit out of Cromer. He trains with Kevin Smith and them. He's one of the trainers at the Smith Brothers Combat Sports. He's unknown. He used to fight for me in MMA. He came to my gym one time years ago and freaking tuned me up. So I know he's got to be better now. And I think this kid, Josh Sanchez, is going to be a bad SOB.
You have something else you wanted to ask?
I'm trying to think. I'm just looking at the fighters right now at the Tampa, but
Oh, that's a good card, man.
I'm some of them I'm not familiar
Like
with.
this,
but
like the guy Dave Mundell's fighting is kind of a shady matchup. But you know what they're trying to do there? They're trying to build up Mundell for that title contendership for Lorenzo.
Yeah, well, speaking of building up, I mean, what do you think of Taylor Starling versus this this Hannah Guy chick? It just seems like a sacrifice. That's what I keep saying.
No, listen, Hannah Guy has some notable wins. She beat Jenny Savage, so in MMA.
Right.
So she's got that killer instinct. You know, Hannah Guy's got some wins in him, and she beat Jenny Savage in MMA. So she's a jiu-jitsu girl. So we know jiu-jitsu guys are tough and girls are tough people. I love Taylor. Taylor has fought with me twice this year on the same card. She is probably one of my family's favorite fighters. I mean, when I went to Thanksgiving dinner this weekend, no one was asking me if I'm going to fight again. They're like, when's Taylor going to fight again? You know what I mean? So they love this chick. And I think she's more valuable to the sport than a Paige Van Zandt, than a Rachel Ostovich, because she is bare knuckle. And I think Taylor is going to come in here and she's going to put it on Hannah. But I have a feeling Hannah's going to try to stuff her up with the clinch.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Nah, because look what she did with Singala.
Fight, yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, that's a good one. I think this is, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
These are the fights you want to. The fight I'm betting on is the little scrappy fight. So
Yeah.
everybody's picking Jenny Savage. I'm putting all my money on Delaney.
Okay.
Just like the last Miami show, I put a bunch of money on Mike Kyle, but we've seen why. I mean, I only did it because he had such high odds.
Yeah.
So, but we see why.
Yeah. Those I feel like those betting odds are affecting the
Where do they come up with that? I
don't know. Some of this stuff
it drives me nuts.
I think it's partially based on where money is being put. Like it does change. If you pay attention to it, like as the fight gets closer, things do change, and that's based on like where people are putting their money on. But I don't know where they I don't know where they pull these initial stats out of, like weeks before.
It's like morning odds or something. You know what I mean? Like it's at a horse track or some shit.
Yeah, it's some of them are pretty sketchy. I'm not gonna lie.
I have a way I do it. I do what I call it a pick four. So I take the card and I let you pick any four fighters.
Yeah.
And then any four ways they can win. 1 is a knockout, 2 is a TKO, 3 is a decision, 4 is a doctor stoppage.
Yeah.
And if you can pick that, I pay 10-1 on it privately. And I'm killing it. And now we're going to try to get it on an app and make it legal. It's some shit. That. It's called a pick four. And the chances of you hitting it, ain't nobody hit it yet. Nobody hit it yet.
That's a lot. That's a lot of things to happen.
Yeah.
And so if you hit it, though, it pays 10-1. And I only let people play one card at a time, and I only let them put $10 on it, just because I don't want to get hit too hard.
Yeah.
But if I save the money in it, and then I play other pools with my friends here and some of my buddies. But we're gonna try to make that legal and get that pick four going, and we're gonna start betting like that. It's like a football pool, you know.
Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah, they need more. They need more side bet action in this. They've got it on BetMGM for regular boxing for some of the higher profile matches, but they don't. Even on there, they don't have it for like most of the women's fights and stuff. They don't. You can't like pick like which round they're gonna like end it in or whatever. But in Bet Online, which is the one that BKFC is affiliated with, they don't have anything like that really for BKFC specifically. They do have a little thing like that for traditional boxing on there, but it's not even as detailed as BetMGM. So I'm hoping to see more variety come eventually, but we'll see.
Do you guys follow BYB?
We're trying to. We're about to go down to our first event of that on in Miami on the 18th. So
yeah. So we got a girl fighting on that card, Miranda Barber.
Mhm.
She was my wife's theater student many years ago.
Oh wow,
And
what are
now
the odds of that?
Yeah, I was about to say.
what's that?
World, small world.
Yeah. So she is gonna be fighting bare knuckle, and it's just awesome that it's just this circle of fight is what I call it. Over the years have just created here in this area that some of us are just it's almost like watching The Lion King. So, but nah, man, I don't think I'm gonna be fighting anytime soon. I'm having too much fun doing what I'm doing,
Well,
and I think I'm more valuable there.
okay. I guess you're gonna retire with a solid bare knuckle record, I guess. Of
Yeah,
you're on.
2-1. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
And
especially.
I got to fight for valor. If I do fight, it will be for valor. I will say that.
Okay. Have you ever
I
thought about like
love
a totally different
that
style
shit.
of combat? Like,
Oh,
thought about like,
I loved it.
no, even crazier. Have you ever thought about doing that
Lionheart.
medieval combat shit? Where you dress up like a knight and you smash each other in the head with the axes and
Fucking
shit?
whack each other with hatchets and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do damage with my fist to Kyle McElroy's face. Imagine what I could do with a fucking hatchet.
Yeah, or a gauntlet. The gauntlets on him too.
Shit. I'm coming in that bitch dressed like a Ninja Turtle.
Be awesome.
But yeah, man.
I can't believe they put you up against Dylan Kleckler. That's just insane.
Well, here's why. Here's what the deal was with Kleckler was I
he had
was
one
matched
win,
up well.
but-
It was matched up well. Number one, nobody fighting. Nobody fight Kleckler. Number two, I have Chase Sherman. I fought Chase Sherman. So me fighting Kleckler wasn't that big of a deal because I fought other guys with well names and I had been experienced. And when they called me, they offered me such good money, I couldn't say no. I could hardly walk. I had to go to a chiropractor every day just to go to training. And they paid me so good. And I had just got custody of my 10-year-old daughter because her mom had cracked out. And I had to get an apartment. And so when they were like, yo, we want to do Kleckler for this much, and I seen some zeros, I was like, okay, run it. And so when he popped me in the rib, boys, I knew what time it was.
Yeah.
It was time for me to sit down and get my check and go up to my family and hang out. And I'll come back next time strong and better.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. All right. I'm a promoter. I'm not stupid. I could have been killed too. I could have been Justin Thornton. But I knew what the fuck I was brought there to do. So when they called me about McElroy or McNugget or whatever the fuck his name is, they basically said, we owe you one. And this guy's talking shit. We can't stand him. Whip his ass for us. And that's basically what the BKFC told me. And then I had Mark Godbeer, of all people, call me. Mark Godbeer calls me and says, hey, mate, I want you to kick the shit out of this guy. And I was like, okay, why does everybody hate this dude? And so I looked at his tryout photo or his tryout video, and I was like, oh, I better not lose to this guy. So I busted my ass in training camp. I paid for the best trainers. I took it to the next level, and it proved it, so.
Sure. So all of your fights have ended in round one and TKO and then KOs. So I guess you really do live by that. Don't let it go to the judges thing, don't you?
Yeah, I hate it. But I will say this, one of my biggest dreams in this career, I've been fighting for 20 years. And one of my biggest dreams was to have a Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner type fight, or Dave Rickles and fucking Julian Lane type fight that goes the distance, even if I won or lost. And I always had that
harder
dream.
to make things go the distance as a heavyweight as opposed to the lower weight divisions, because it always seems like the lower weight divisions you'll see a lot less knockouts in traditional boxing anyway. You'll see some more TKOs in bare knuckle just for medical stoppages due to cuts and shit, but seems like as far as the way things are normally done with boxing, you're gonna see a lot less KOs.
So the good Lord, here's my saying for that. And I say this, and if anyone that listens to this and knows me, they know I say this all the time. The good Lord made weight classes for a reason. All right. He made weight classes for a reason, because I don't care who you are. If you take 145-pound Jose Aldo, and Jose Aldo is one of the best fighters in the world. You put that little bastard in the ring with me, he'll stand a fucking chance.
No, yeah, it's just not a fair fight.
It's not going to work. We see these women beating the shit out of each other. Jessica Link and who did Jessica fight in Wichita? Whatever.
Yeah.
Jessica, who'd she fight? Clarissa Singala.
Yeah, Singala. Yeah.
Clarissa Singala. Now them two beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, that was a
They
great.
beat the shit out of each other, but
I
nobody got knocked out, and nobody was rocked. I talked to both of them after the event. You know what I mean? Nobody was rocked. They don't. Not going to say they don't possess that power. It's just that it's not as likely. In MMA, in heavyweight, my coach does not let me throw punches with power. He only lets me throw punches with speed because he said speed speed is what creates the power.
Yeah.
And so in the heavyweight, it's different, man. You got these guys with Mark Godbeer's fist is as big as my face, man.
Yeah.
Like I'll never fight him.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna match up Kleckler and Godbeer, bro. I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell y'all. I've stood next to both of them. Godbeer's gonna smash that dude, man. Like Godbeer's on another level.
How are they going to be able to market Kleckler after what happened to Thornton? I'm curious.
They're gonna have to pray to God that Josh Burns loses to. They got to pray to God Josh Burns gets hurt or something.
Oh yeah.
Because they got to let the dust settle. I think.
Oh yeah.
Like for instance, they're saying Josh Burns fight Arnold Adams, and I think Josh deserves it. I think Josh has put his time in. He's got some good knockouts. And they're saying that Kleckler's never fought nobody, which is bullshit because he fought me, and I'm not being selfish. I'm just being that but I did lay down. It wasn't like I gave it my all. But Kleckler's a tough son of a bitch, and he's only got one loss, and that's to Alex Spartan, and it was a fucking dirty ass elbow, that spinning elbow. He was running away, and Kleckler walked into it.
Oh.
So I think Kleckler deserves the shot at the title because he's never had a shot at a title. He's 11 or 12-1 in his entire career of martial arts and combat sports. I think they put Kleckler against Arnold Adams first. They let Josh and Bobo or somebody fight. Josh and someone else who's up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they let because when Godbeer gets here off the boat, everyone's fucked. When Godbeer gets here, I don't care. Arnold Adams, I don't give a damn. Mick Terrell, I don't care who. This man beat Jack May and Mighty Mo in the same night, and I was there. And he hardly even broke a sweat. He was drinking pints of beer in the back, for Christ's sakes. The guy's a killer, and if they let him train in Thailand and come and fight here in America for BKFC, no one beats him in the heavyweight division. Kleckler's a nobody. Burns is a nobody. Arnold Adams is a nobody. They're probably going to have to try to pay Francis to come over and do bare knuckle. Godbeer's on the top of the food chain when it comes to heavyweights.
He's one of the best.
He is. And I'm not saying it because he's my friend. I'm saying it because I've stood next to the guy. I've stood in a fighting stance with him. I've held mitts for him. If he hit me in the arm, I'd fucking lay on the ground and cry. You know, big dude.
Serious power.
His fists are as big as my hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that shit's hard.
but I see Kleckler. I think they need to either drop Kleckler and Burns a bone, and that'll solve all the problems because Burns got to run from Kleckler with that hamstring.
Was Kleckler set for the January event?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything past this event right now. My licensing and what I'm paying. I don't know anything about.
I don't even know anything about the Thailand event that's scheduled a few hours after it. No one knows anything about that, so I don't blame you for not knowing anything.
There's the issue with I got some speculations about the Thailand event too. I feel like that's a lawsuit gone bad. Yeah, I made up a new word there. That was a new word I just made up. But I think the Thailand gimmick is a lawsuit gone bad. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it sounds strange that so the event is happening, or the Tampa event is happening on Thursday night, and the Thailand event is happening. I think it starts at Eastern time, 6 a.m. So that's just like, well, what is the Tampa event going to end at like 12 or 12 or 1 p.m. or 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So it's just going to happen a few hours. It's going to be a very small audience that's going to be able to watch it. Maybe the Russians. I know the Russians love to watch BKFC. So maybe the Russians are going to tune in.
Yeah, no, I know. I got super famous in Russia after the Kleckler fight. That was weird.
Yeah. The Russians
And
are
Poland.
crazy about it. They have their own organization, but they just can't get enough of it. So they watch all the other organizations around the world.
Are they doing it in the hay bales, or are they actually
that's their
doing
thing. That's Top Dog FC's thing. They have the hay bale thing. And you know what else they do? They wear jeans in the ring.
Now, dude, I got to be honest, in the Valor fight. So I'm living in North Dakota. I ran away from the MMA scene in Florida after my last MMA fight. I had a 16-second knockout. I had the mental breakdown with social media and everything, and I just ran off to North Dakota to go work in the oil field. Took my wife, hauled ass out there. And I found a casino, and I'm sitting in this casino drunk as shit one day, hitting on the reservation, hitting the damn slot machines, and I see Ken Shamrock walk by. Now I'm buzzing pretty good. I'm about 4 or 5 draft beers, and I'm talking tall glasses that they fill up from the bottom.
So you feel
I'm like, yeah, I was confident. I ran up to him in his entourage. I'm like, Ken, what's up, man? Big boy. Like I knew him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we knew each other. He's like, hey, what's up, big boy? I'm like, what are you doing here? And the people that are with him think I know him, so they walk away from him. And I go, what are you doing here? He goes, oh man, we're about to do a bare knuckle fight. And then I said, Ken, you know I'm an MMA fighter and I live right down the street. Let me fight. And he goes, okay, take this kid's name. And I was the first person on the Valor card. And guess who my first opponent offered to me was? Joey Beltran.
Oh, Joey Beltran. Okay.
Swear to God, that's the first person they asked me if I'd fight Joey Beltran. I went, sure. Thank God that he didn't sign with them. So then I fought for him, and I got to meet all those guys, and I got to be a part of that. And I got to be honest, they treated us like, I mean, that was the best I've ever been treated as a fighter. Week-long hotels in the casino, food vouchers, itineraries with media times, and man, happy wife, happy life. I mean, they took care of every one of us, man. And not one time did anyone bat an eye or disrespect us, and it was just perfect. They paid us good. Man, it was the best, but maybe that's why they only had one show.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. Oh, have you been offered anything from BKB before?
no, the only thing I had offered a Game Bread offered me something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was offered something recently for Game Bread, and then I gave them a number, and no one ever even emailed me back. So they must have thought I was full of shit.
Okay.
But it's got to be worth it, you know.
Yeah. We've liked what we've seen of Game Bread so far. I like the second card more than the first card, but out of the two,
You know, I think Game Bread just needs a little. I think everyone's a little standoffish with Jorge and what he's doing. I love it. I think it's great because it is the old school UFC type shit, and he's the one that got it to go through. However, I feel like they need better matchmaking, and they need to maybe synergy with some other promotions, work with other promotions. I know they're working with BKFC, but I also know that Dan Lambert's got his finger in it. So it's not just Jorge. I know that. I'm American Top Team. I train American Top Team Tampa here. That's my gym. So I know that there's something that they're not doing that they're waiting to do. There's something, they're not putting the fights they need to right now. They're waiting for something. They're either waiting for the fall of bare knuckle through athletic organizations because of the death of Thornton. They're either waiting for that, or they're going to see, I don't know. I'm really puzzled with the way they're promoting it and the way they're matchmaking, because they can get better fighters than Alex Spartan and Ivy. I mean, Alex is a fucking beast. Don't get me wrong. Alex is a murderer. He's the only person to ever beat Dylan Kleckler. But I think Alex is better somewhere else. I think Alex should be in the BKFC making money. Maybe Mike Perry should be in Game Bread. You know what I mean? Like, Alex deserves to be in bare knuckle.
Yeah.
But I think they could do better. I think they could have better matches. Now I got my homegirl Jessica Link. She's fighting this weekend on there, so I'm excited to see her.
Yeah. Jessica Link. Yeah, I've seen her fight before, I think.
Yeah, she's Isaac Doolittle's girlfriend.
Oh yeah. I've seen her on social media a lot as well.
Yeah, she was a Wichita girl, and that's another. And see, this is the thing I'm doing right now. I'm doing a story on power couples and how these power couples are succeeding, like Joey Beltran and Britton Hart, like Isaac Doolittle and Jessica Link.
Lost his thing the week before Pearl did. Before the Pearl.
Yeah, and that was another fight that was a badass fight, man.
It was a good fight.
I would have been proud to lose that way. You know what I mean? But I think these power couples are having an advantage right now, and I'm a power couple. My wife was right with me in my training camp and pushed me, and it's one of my best wins ever and the most confident I've ever felt. And I think that has something to do, just like we're seeing with Delaney Owens, Delaney Bailey, and Jeff Bailey.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff Bailey is a genius when it comes to the fight game. He's been coaching me and dealing with me I've been knowing him my whole career. And now he's got Delaney and him are married and together, and she's got him in their own gym. She's going to be a badass on this fight, man.
Absolutely. So what else did you want to cover? Let's talk about how scoring is supposed to work. I know we didn't get to look at the card, but I want to know what you know about it.
That's why I wanted to see it, because I wanted to see how they were doing it. But what I know from what I do is they do it in 10-9. And so they got how many rounds, the judges are 10-9 in them. Whoever they felt lost that round, they give them a 9. And whoever they think won the round, they give a 10. If the referee takes a point from them, he tells them and they mark the point off. And then at the end of the fight, they all add all the numbers up, and that's how they figure it out. And I hate it.
How do they necessarily count the punches and stuff? Because it's hard to do that in real time just with the naked eye. I want to know what's considered a punch and what's considered connecting.
So I don't think the judges see that.
Okay,
I don't think the judges see that. They don't get to see that here.
Because that'd be a lot to think about.
No, they don't get to see that. Judges don't get in Florida. They don't get to see the punches landed. That's TV. TV does that. And that might, and also you got to think that's human error. And normally there's a software counting that. And that could be wrong. Like
yeah,
on
it's
Pearl,
wrong. I've seen it firsthand wrong.
yeah, the Pearl and Brit one was fucked up. I saw it and I was like, what? No.
Yes,
it was weird.
The Dat Win one was also fucked up. I
Yeah.
watched that one in slow motion several times. Dat landed way more punches than it says on there.
Oh, I got a story for you. Tachi told me you're a Dat fan. So listen to what happened in Miami. So in Miami, I'm doing the backstage event thing, and I see this dude fucking blast Dat's son, dude. Like one of Luis Palomino's fans, Dat's kids were walking down the hall, going out the back entrance, and this dude just blasts through him, punches one and throws one on the ground. What? Swear to God. Bro, I lost my shit. I threw my jacket off. I went after the dude. They're holding me back. I'm going after the Spanish dude. The Spanish dude's trying to go hide up in the crowd. I got the cops coming. I got my wife coming. The little kid's still laying on the ground. And I'm like, no. I mean, I'm pointing right at the dude going, that motherfucker right there.
What was going on? What happened here?
He got punched.
So Dat's sons.
What was this about?
So Dat's fight had just happened.
Yeah.
And Dat's sons were walking down a hall going out the back entrance of the event center.
Yeah.
And one of Luis Palomino's drunk Spanish fans came walking through the middle of them, and the kids were down playing on their phones, and he pushed one over and fucking just cracked one in the jaw and knocked him down. Like some Asian hate shit, bro.
What the hell? Yeah.
I lost my shit, man.
Yeah.
Then he tried to hide in the crowd, and we went and got it.
Yeah,
we went out and got his ass.
Yeah.
Do you know who it is? Let's fucking dox him.
Yeah.
I wish I knew who he was, and I wish I had pictures. But he was escorted out, and the kids thanked me. Like the kids were like, "Oh, thank you so much." Yeah, and then when I saw Dat coming through, I about said something. Hey, man, kid. But I felt like Dat was going after him because he went the way that the guy was escorted out. So, but I didn't get to talk to him after that. But it was crazy, man. It was just. That's nonsense, man. You don't be putting your hands on a kid. Now, if it had been adults, I would have kept my business out of it.
Yeah.
But when I seen that dude put his hands on a kid, that's when I lost my shit.
That's so insane. No one ever talked about that. You're the first person to mention that.
I was there, dude. Me and my wife and Susan Sagari, we were all there. We stopped the cameras. We stopped our interviews. I threw my jacket off. I was in a suit. I went chasing the dude, all kinds of stuff. So I don't play that shit. I'll knock him out. I've been in prison 5 years of my life when I was in my 20s. I am not scared to go back. That is the easiest living you'll ever get in your life. You get your food handed to you and everything handed to you. Fuck that. I'll eat a bologna sandwich over someone hitting a kid.
You'll be a hero in prison.
I am anyways. when I was in prison, I was a hero. So because I'm just a cool ass white dude. And
yeah, but they don't like people who mess with kids.
No, they don't. They don't like them. They hate them.
Yeah.
It's even that more what they hate worse. They don't like people who are fucking fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't like child abusers and shit like that. So, but that was my turning point in life. When I was in my 20s, that saved me. When I was in prison, I dedicated my life to training and I dedicated everything to training. There are professional fighters that learned how to fight from me in prison. They came out here on the streets and have made their way into professional. Sean Washington, Mike Greason, Yes, and my wife met them. You know what I mean? And these are people I changed their lives, and I set a path for myself, and I never went back, and that's how it changed my life. So
Well, I think they actually
um,
need to put these boxing programs back into a lot of these prisons because that's actually giving them job skill sets to use
yep,
out in
it
the.
is. That's brother. You're looking at it right here. Everything what you just said, everything that I'm doing right now, I did on a smaller scale when I was in chain gang. Even gambling, like I ran a gambling. I had a tattoo house. I had all kinds of shit. I was just a hustler. I ran the rec yard, and I mean I was just the biggest hustler. It's a crazy story. I don't like talking about it, but it's what made me who I am today. And what I'm doing now is my wife is a teacher at a behavioral school here in Tampa. So she gets all the little hoodlums and the little, the little
Wannabe
motherfuckers.
gangsters.
Then I don't know about wannabe though, man. These little fuckers are killing each other and fucking. I mean, these little bastards. We call them jits around here, and I say some people say wannabe gangsters, but in my eyes, man, these little bastards are gangsters, man. They're stupid. They don't care. They don't understand that their whole life can be taken away from them, so they're quick to pull a trigger on each other.
Yeah.
Well, my wife's a teacher at one of these schools where they try to stop them. They try to help them.
Yeah.
And what I've found out is if you've looked at if you ever look up Tigers World Tampa MMA, you'll see at one time I had a whole bunch of those hood rats in my gym, and I had them setting the cage up for me at events. I had them training, cleaning the gym for me. I was teaching them jiu-jitsu, teaching them MMA. And these guys all now to this day, all these dudes, Mikhail Ferguson, Doug Moore, Michael Cave, all these guys still have great lives. They're still in the business. They've got out of the ghetto. And we found out that this sport in MMA, which is a negative, fighting is negative. There's nothing positive about fighting. All right. It doesn't matter. It's just a negative thing. But it has a positive outcome. And that's when you do fighting and when you do a structured curriculum martial arts and you teach someone how to fight, you teach someone confidence, you teach them discipline through MMA and jiu-jitsu, you change their lives immediately. And you have 100%, break the chain right there. And they don't get in trouble again. And there's a reason why, because you can humble the little motherfuckers. So I'd have them in my gym with me, and these little gangsters that we're talking about, these little dudes that was like, man, I'll shoot you, blah, blah. It's like, all right, guys, jiu-jitsu time. I want everybody to do 100 push-ups and 50 squats before you do jiu-jitsu. Okay. After 100 squats and 50 push-ups, they ain't too gangster anymore.
No.
And now they got to spar with my big ass.
Yeah.
And mommy just told me that he disrespected her this morning on the way to school because he wouldn't pull his pants up. So guess what I'm fixing to do to this little bastard?
Not pull any punches. That's what you're fixing to do.
I'm fixing to cross-face him. I'm fixing to bite his ears. I'm fixing to do every dirty little thing. I'm fixing to spank him legally.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it works. It works on my kids. And I'm trying to implement that into this behavioral school. But, they look at me and they're like, we don't know this because what he's talking about. But I know it's going to work. And I know it's something that could change the future of our society. It might not be everybody. But it'll be the ones that we need to just keep from going to prison, the real killers and the real haters.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing that fucked me up in high school and shit was the grade point average.
Yeah.
I would have been an NFL football player. I would have been whatever sport I played, even if I never played it. Within a week, I was on the starting team. No matter what, lacrosse, football, wrestling, baseball, even basketball. But because I couldn't keep my grade point average up, I wouldn't be able to play. So I get in fucking fights at school. And the teacher would be, and the principal would be like, oh, we're going to suspend you again this week, Chris. Try again next week. Let's not get in a fight. Okay. Now let's fast forward 20 years. That same administrator was at my last fight. That same administrator was his kid sponsored me in the Dylan Kleckler fight. And you know what he said to me? He said, man, I guess I didn't know what I was doing back then. So all they were suspending me for doing the shit that I'm doing for a living. And now everyone's paying me to do now. Yeah. So there's some messed up shit there and we need to try to fix that,
Absolutely.
So, but it's crazy story, man. But I got to get off because I got my wife here looking at me funny. We've been out at the beach drinking. We went with Chachi today and we went and hung out. I took my work to the beach. So we hung out with Chachi on the beach and I cooked shish kebabs and did podcasts on the beach. It was pretty cool.
Fantastic. That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
No, it's great. If you guys are ever in Florida, man, we're going to do it. We'll do it, man. So you're going to be here for Miami BYB. Are you flying into Miami?
No, we're driving.
Fucking drive through Tampa, stop and see your boy, man. It's kind of on the way.
I think for the drive down there we will, but on the drive back, I think we're gonna go through Vero Beach and maybe try and hang out with that.
Yeah, you'll go through 95 on the way back up. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
better deal. You do it. Hit me up and hit Tampa, man, and I'll show you some
You're not
shit
gonna be
Tampa.
in. Aren't you gonna be in Miami for the fight?
No, I'm not gonna. I haven't been. I think Susan's doing that one. Susan. So we do all the bare knuckle news, but I think they're keeping me as a BKFC baby because I fought for them.
Gotcha.
I think I want to go and be a part of BYB because I got Miranda fighting, and I know a lot of those people from Miami, and I know Dada. I mean, I fought his cousin Cedric James, so I want to go, but I don't. I think Susan and them are keeping me with BKFC, and I think Susan wants to stay in Miami because she lives there. So
Okay. All right. Well, sure. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Go down there. Thanks for coming on our
Hell
show.
yeah.
I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. It was fun. Anytime you ever want to holler at me, just talk to me. All
Well, yeah, we'll see about getting you on again.
right, my man. Thanks, guys.